This is a love song.
Your love for me is not debatable. Your sexual appetite's insatiable. You never ever make me waitable. Delectable, inflatable you. You don't have problems with your weight at all. You never steal food off my plate at all. I never have to masturbate at all. Unstoppable, inflatable you. You never seem to menstruate at all. So you're not angry when I'm late at all. I feel permanently fillatable, unpoppable, inflatable you. With you in my arms, I feel we could just float away. With the right kind of gas, I might even try it someday. In this ocean of life, I'm never afraid I might drown. We could just float forever, whatever the weather, whenever my inflatable love is around. Your thighs and buttocks are so holdable. You always do just what you're toldable. And if we argue, you just foldable, controllable, consolable you. My mates all reckon you are suitable. I took you round to watch the football, and Steve and Gary said you're rootable, refutable, commutable you. You're never sensitive or tickly. When I rub you, my skin goes prickly. It's known as static electricity, felicity when I'm kissing you. Your skin is so smooth, I couldn't afford you with hair. You have all the holes real girls have got, +1 for the air. Your problems are simple, I don't need my master's in psych to know if you get down. Now just to perk you right up with a couple of squirts with the pump off my bike. You never wake up when I snore at all, a trait which I find quite adorable. You have a box and you are storable, ignorable, backdoorable you. Any sexual position's feasible, although you don't bend at the knees at all. Your hooters are so firm and squeezable, increasable, uncreasable.
Pleasure is the antonym of pain, and this song is about the pleasure of pain. Dun 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 dun.
Yeah, did you really think that I will love you again? Did you think I'd just forgive the things that you've done to me? You must think I'm a masochist. I'd just as soon go and slit my wrists as take you back again. Who do you think I am? 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 Did you think I'd just sit around and wait for you to sort out your stuff? Ring you up fortnightly to reiterate my love for you. No! You must think I'm a masochist. I'd rather staple my foreskin to the roof of a descending lift as take you back again. Who do you think I am? 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 Yeah. that I would let you have it all. Spending time alone while making sure you keep a hold on me. You must think I'm a masochist. I'd rather watch an amateur dramatic musical version of Schindler's List than take you back again. Who you think I am? 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 Here we go. Your love is like fingernails on a chalkboard. Your love is like throwing myself overboard. A breakdown on a motorway, a heart attack on Christmas Day. Like scaling a cliff, then falling off, like trying not to cough. And I didn't see this one coming. Now I'm in too deep. I didn't see this one coming. Now I'm in too deep. I think I'll just keep swimming down, down, down. There's no point in trying to turn back now. I'm drowned. I'm drowned. Your love is like sand inside a bathing suit. Your love is a symphony with the sound on mute. A letter to the wrong address, or a red wine on a wedding dress. Like broken bones in my playing hand, like trying to swallow sand. And I didn't see this one coming. Now I'm in too deep. I didn't see this one coming. Now I'm in too deep. I think I'll just keep swimming down, down, down. There's no point in trying to reach dry ground. I'm drowned. I'm drowned. Your love is like one last breath of salty air. Your love is like a Well, I wake up in the morning at 11:47 and I can't believe I have to face the horror of another fucking day. And the magnificent magnitude of my morning erection merely mocks me like the sun in its optimistic greeting of the day. Managing to manifest a modicum of motivation, I meander to the kitchen, make a mission out of mixing Nescafe. But the milk is going off and coffee by itself is bitter, and there's ants all through the sugar, and the supermarket smiles a fucking way. My life is pretty sad, but I know that I should be glad. I could be a starving Ethiop or a policeman in Baghdad. Policeman in Baghdad. Baghdad. At 11:53 I instigate the day's ablutions in the hope my constitution can be altered by some action on the bowl. But the total non-existence of colonic animation seems to me the perfect metaphor for the utter constipation of my soul. By 11:59 I have decided that my life would be immediately improved by a carefully written list of short-term goals. But by 12:05 my list consists of 1 dot, put some pants on, 2 dot, go to the shop, buy some prunes and Panadol. My life is pretty shit, but I know I shouldn't whinge about it. I could be a Palestinian driving buses on the Gaza Strip. Yeah, how bad can it be? Some people have it worse than me. I could be an Ipswich prostitute or Gary Glitter's family. I have no right to cry. Some people have it worse than I could be up the lid of my kid with something in my eye. Something in my eye. My eye. At 12:30 I realize I'm feeling so dejected that I totally neglected the beginning of the Jerry Springer show. So I settle on the sofa, try to focus an iota of my motor neurons on the brilliant insights for which Jerry is known. And although on any other day a show entitled Midgets, Midgets, Midgets would excite me like a virgin at a Year 11 ball, today those little jelly wrestling fellas fail to free me of my misery. Instead they simply serve to make me feel 3 foot tall. But how bad can it be? Some people have it worse than me. I could be a junior lifesaver on a Bandarache beach, or a woman in Afghanistan, or a Jew in the Ku Klux Klan, or the architect of the World Trade Center, or a bobcat driver in Bam, Iran. I could have my identity mistaken as a bomber in an underground station. I could be a peace-loving speechwriter in George W.'s administration. Yeah, you know that I don't have the right to be unhappy with my life. I could be Hitler's mother or Shane Warne's wife. Yeah, you know that I shouldn't be bitching. I could be in a worse position. I could be a 3-nippled naturopath in the days of the Spanish Inquisition. You know I have no right to cry. Some people have it much, much worse than I could have a serious nut allergy and be shipwrecked on an island with a crate of Snickers bars, a jar of Nutella and a fresh baked pecan pie. Some people have it worse than I.
Put your hands together and give a huge welcome to the hysterical prince of piano, Mr. Tim Minchin!
This is a song about the language of prejudice. It's called Taboo. In this modern free-spoken society, there is a word that we still hold taboo. A word with a terrible history of being used to abuse, oppress and subdue. Just 6 seemingly harmless letters arranged in this way will form a word with more power than the pieces of metal that are forged to make swords. A couple of G's, an R and an E, an I and an N. The 6 little letters all jumbled together have caused damage that we may never mend. And it's important that we all respect that if these people should happen to choose to reclaim the word as their own, it doesn't mean the rest of you have a right to its use. So never underestimate the power that language imparts. sticks and stones may break your bones, but words can break hearts. A couple of G's, unless you've had to live it. An R and an Eve, and I am careful with it. An I and an N, in the end it will only offend. Don't wanna have to spell it out again. Only a ginger can call another ginger ginger. Only a ginger can call another ginger ginger. So listen to me if you care for your health. You don't call me ginger unless you're ginger yourself, yeah. Only a ginger can call another ginger ginger. Yep. When you are a ginger, life is pretty hard. Years of ritual bullying in the schoolyard. A kid's calling you Ranger and Fanta Pants. No invitation to the high school dance, but you get up and learn to hold your head up. You try to keep you cool and not get head up. But until the feeling of ill is truly let up, then the word is ours and ours alone. Don't you know that only a ginger can call another ginger ginger? So if you call me Ginger, I just might come unhinged. If you don't have a fringe with at least a tinge of the ginge in it, only a ginger can call another ginger ginger. Yeah, yeah. Now listen to me, we're not looking for sympathy just because we're sensitive to UV. Just cause we're pathetically pale, we do alright with the females. Yeah, I like to ask the ladies round for ginger beer, and soon they're running their fingers through my ginger beard and dunking my ginger nuts into their ginger tea, yeah, and asking can they call me Ginger, and I say I don't think that's appropriate, cause only a ginger can call another ginger ginger, yeah. And all the ladies, they agree it's a fact, once you gone ginger, you can't go back. So only a ginger can call another ginger ginger. There you go, Ginger, go motherfucker, go. Yeah, you can call us bozo or fire truck. You can even call us carrot top or blood nut. Yeah, you can call me matchstick or tampon. But fucking with the G word is just not on. If you're a gingerphobe and you don't like us, we'll stand up to the fight if you want to fight us. But if you cut yourself, you might catch gingivitis. So maybe you should shut your funky mouth. Yeah, only a ginger can call another ginger ginger. Yeah, yeah. So if you call us ginger, you can't whinge if you're injured. If you don't have a tinge of the ginge in your minge, only a ginger can call another ginger ginger, yeah. And I know my kids will always be clothed and fed, cause Papa's gonna be bringing home the gingerbread. And they'll be pretty smart because they'll be well read. And by red I mean red and the other kind of red. Woo! Only a ginger can call another ginger ginger. Just like only a ninja can sneak up on another ninja, yeah. Only a ginger, only a ginger, only a ginger. Are you listening? I'm not pointing the finger, I'm just having a singer. I am just reminding ya that only a ginger can call another ginger ginger.
I will be chatting to him in a moment, but first, performing a song he's written especially for us, I want you to welcome, and I genuinely think it's going to be one of those performances that everyone talks about. He's a fabulous comedian, the amazing Mr. Tim Minchin.
Obviously, I don't want to infer that being invited on the Friday night with Wasi isn't wonderfully affirming. And I know I oughta appreciate the risk you took, the bookers who agreed to book a chap who tends to talk about the kind of things that get the BBC in hot water. And I don't want to seem greedy, I'm just saying I'd like to be here every week if that's okay. And if you'll hear me out, I think I've got a way in which we could do it pretty easily. You can leave all the boring details to me. It's a brilliant idea, a truly original concept. No one in Britain has ever done anything like it, yeah. Picture this. Imagine if we had 5 puffs and 2 pianos. Yeah, it's a wicked idea. Why settle for a quartet of queers when there's the possibility of a pentapuffed, a piano posse here? 5 puffs and 2 pianos. Yeah, it'll be ace. 100% more pianos and 25% more gays. I know, I've seen the problem too. There's a rumor I am straight, it's true. It hurts to admit it, but I'm about as bent as Wasi himself or 50 Cent. But I've already thought it through. Do you know there's preachers in America who reckon they can do sexuality conversions? I've heard them assert they can cure a man of trouser love and turn him onto skirt. Well, I don't see why they couldn't pull the same trick in reverse, and we'd have 5 puffs and 2 pianos. Yeah, it's a revolution, and probably the best solution to the problem you're inevitably having with an even number of homosexuals. Yes, I know your producers might suspect that the license-paying public will object to the corporation having yet another homosexual to pay. The Daily Mail will bring the big guns out. Dan Moyer will be frothing at the mouth, writing further brilliant stuff about the myth of being both happy and gay. But all that moral indignation will disappear when they see those 4 lovely guys and me singing in perfect harmony. And all those angry letter writers, like disgusted from the Isle of Wight and mad from Hull and outraged from Leeds and slightly annoyed from Berwick-on-Tweed, will instantly change their tune. They'll be bleeding heart liberals by Saturday noon. They'll be giving their grandchildren up for adoption in the hope that a gay married couple will adopt them. They'll be putting rainbow stickers on their cars and cutting holes in the arse of their leather strides. Watching 2 pianos and 5 guys. Watching 2 pianos and 5 guys. Watching 2 pianos and 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 puffs and 2 pianos. Yeah, it'll be grand. You can never have too many pianos or too much man. 5 puffs and 2 pianos, and maybe we could out Jamie Cullum. Make it a trio of pianos and a big gay half dozen.
It's a 10-minute show, ladies and gentlemen.
This is a 9-minute beat poem. It's called Storm. Inner North London, top floor, flat, all white walls, white carpet, white cat, rice paper partitions, modern art and ambition. The host's a physician, bright bloke, has his own practice. His girlfriend's an actress, an old mate of ours from home, and they're always great fun, so to dinner we've come. The 5th guest is an unknown. The hosts have just thrown us together as a favour because this girl's just arrived from Australia and she's moved to North London and she's a sister of someone or has some connection. As we make introductions, I'm struck by her beauty. She's irrefutably fair with dark eyes and dark hair. But as she sits, I admit I'm a little bit wary because I noticed the tip of the wing of a fairy tattooed on that popular area just above the derriere. And when she says, I'm Sagittarian, I confess a pigeonhole starts to form and is immediately filled with pigeon when she says her name is Storm. Conversation is initially bright and light-hearted, but it's not long before Storm gets started. You can't know anything. Knowledge is merely opinion, she opines over her Cabernet Sauvignon vis-a-vis some unhippily empirical comment made by me. Not a good start, I think. We're only on pre-dinner drinks, and across the room my wife widens her eyes, silently begs me, be nice. A matrimonial warning not worth ignoring, so I resist the urge to ask Storm whether knowledge is so loose weave of a morning when deciding whether to leave her apartment by the front door or the window on her second floor. The food is delicious, and Storm, whilst avoiding all meat, happily sits and eats as the good doctor, slightly pissedly, holds court on some anachronistic aspect of medical history, when Storm suddenly insists, "But the human body is a mystery. Science just falls in a hole when it tries to explain the nature of the soul." My hostess throws me a glance. She, like my wife, knows there's a chance I'll be off on one of my rare but fun rants, but I shan't. My lips are sealed. I just want to enjoy the meal. And although Storm is starting to get my goat, I have no intention of rocking the boat. Although it's becoming a bit of a wrestle, because like her meteorological namesake, Storm has no such concerns for our vessel. Pharmaceutical companies are the enemy. They promote drug dependency at the cost of the natural remedies that are all our bodies need. They are immoral and driven by greed. Why take drugs when herbs can solve it? Why use chemicals when homeopathic solvents can resolve it? I think it's time we all return to live with natural medical alternatives. And try as I like, a small crack appears in my diplomacy dike. By definition, I begin, alternative medicine, I continue, has either not been proved to work or been proved not to work. Do you know what they call alternative medicine that's been proved to work? Medicine. So you don't believe in any natural remedies? On the contrary, Storm, actually, before we came to tea, I took a natural remedy derived from the bark of a willow tree. A painkiller, virtually side effect free. It's got a weird name. Darling, what was it again? Aspirin? The aspirin? Oh yeah, aspirin, which I paid about $1 for down at the local drugstore. The debate briefly abates as my hosts collect plates. But as they return with dessert, Storm pertly asserts, Shakespeare said it first. There are more things in heaven and earth than exist in your philosophy. Science is just how we're trained to look at reality. It doesn't explain love or spirituality. How does science explain psychics, auras, the afterlife, the power of prayer? I'm becoming aware that I'm staring and I'm like a rabbit suddenly trapped in the blinding headlights of vacuous crap. Maybe it's the Hamlet she just misquaffed, or the 6th glass of wine I just quaffed. But my diplomacy dike groans, and the arsehole held back by its stones can be held back no more. Look, Storm, sorry, I don't mean to bore you, but there's no such thing as an aura. Reading auras is like reading minds, or tea leaves, or star signs, or meridian lines. These people aren't plying a skill. They're either lying or mentally ill. Same goes for people who claim to hear God's demands and spiritual healers who think they've got magic hands. By the way, why do we think it's okay for people to pretend they can talk to the dead? Isn't that totally fucked in the head? Lying to some crying woman whose child has died and telling her you're in touch with the other side? I think that's fundamentally sick. Do we need to clarify here that there's no such thing as a psychic? What are we fucking to? Do we actually think that Horton heard a who? Do we still believe that Santa brings us gifts, that Michael Jackson didn't have facelifts? Are we still so stunned by circus tricks that we think the dead would want to talk to pricks like John Edward? Storm, to her credit, despite my derision, keeps firing off cliches with startling precision like a sniper using bollocks for ammunition. You're so sure of your position, but you're just closed-minded. I think you'll find that your faith in science and tests is just as blind as the faith of any fundamentalist. That's a good point. Let me think for a bit. Oh wait, my mistake, that's absolute bullshit. Science adjusts its views based on what's observed. Faith is the denial of observation so that belief can be preserved. If you show me that, say, homeopathy works, then I will change my mind. I will spin on a fucking dime. I'll be as embarrassed as hell, but I will run through the streets yelling, "It's a miracle! Take physics and bin it! Water has memory, and whilst its memory of a long-lost drop of onion juice seems infinite, it somehow forgets all the poo it's had in it. You show me that it works and how it works, and when I've recovered from the shock, I will take a compass and carve fancy that on the side of my cock." Everyone's just staring now, but I'm pretty pissed and I've dug this far down, so I figure in for the penny, in for the pound. Life is full of mystery, yeah. But there are answers out there, and they won't be found by people sitting around looking serious and saying, isn't life mysterious? Let's sit here and hope. Let's call up the fucking Pope. Let's go watch Oprah interview Deepak Chopra. If you must watch telly, you should watch Scooby-Doo. That show was so cool because every time there was a church with a ghoul or a ghost in a school, they looked beneath the mask, and what was inside? The fucking janitor or the dude who ran the water slide. Because throughout history, every mystery ever solved has turned out to be not magic. Does the idea that there might be knowledge frighten you? Does the idea that one afternoon on Wikipedia might enlighten you, frighten you? Does the notion that there might not be a supernatural so blow your hippie noodle that you'd rather just stand in the fog of your inability to Google? Isn't this enough? Just this world?
Fighting is in my blood.
Just this? Beautiful, complex, wonderfully unfathomable, natural world? How does it so fail to hold our attention that we have to diminish it with the invention of cheap man-made myths and monsters? If you're so into your Shakespeare, lend me your ear. To gild refined gold, to paint the lily, to throw perfume on the violet. It's just fucking simple. Something like that. What about Satchmo? I'll see trees of green, red roses too, and fine. If you wish to glorify Krishna and Vishnu in a post-colonial, condescending, bottled up and labelled kind of way, then whatever, that's okay. But here's what gives me a heartache. I am a tiny, insignificant, ignorant bit of carbon. I have one life, it's short, unimportant, but thanks to recent scientific advances, I get to live twice as long as my great uncles and aunts. Twice as long to live this life of mine. Twice as long to love this wife of mine. Twice as many years of friends and wine, of sharing curries and getting shitty at good-looking hippies with fairies on their spines and butterflies on their titties. And if perchance I have offended, think but this and all is mended. We'd as well be 10 minutes back in time for all the chance you'll change your mind.
And hot from the Edinburgh Festival, comedian Tim Minchin enters into the spirit of the film.
So there's this kid called Donnie Darko, and this aeroplane engine falls through his roof and lands where he's just been, but it's cool, because he's out sleepwalking, as is his habit, engaged in apocalyptic discourse with this freaky 6-foot rabbit. You see how Donnie, in reality, doesn't have a firm hold. The rabbit teaches him about time travel and wormholes. He burns down Patrick Swayze's house, because the rabbit tells him to. He shags a chick called Gretchen, and the rabbit shows him what to do. Then they have a Halloween party with 80s tunes and beer, and they ride on their bikes through the night, and that's when things get weird. You see, the rabbit's drunk behind the wheel, and Gretchen pops. This is a song about that feeling I think we all get sometimes, where you feel like you're the smallest doll in a babushka doll. This is my earth, and I live in it. It's 1/3 dirt and 2/3 water, and it rotates and revolves through space at rather an impressive pace, and never even messes up my hair. And here's a really weird thing. The force created by its spin is the force that stops the chaos flooding in. This is my earth,
majority of my time. It's not perfect, but it's mine. It's not perfect. This is my country, and I live in it. It's pretty big and nice to walk on, and the bloke who runs my country has built a demagoguery and taught us to be fearful and boring. And the weirdest thing is that he is conservative of politics, but really rather radical of eyebrows. This is my country, and it's fine. It's where I spend the vast majority of my time. It's not perfect, but it's mine. It's not perfect. This is my house, and I live in it. It's made of cracks and photographs. We rented off a guy who bought it from a guy who bought it from a guy whose granddad left it to him. And the weirdest thing is that this house has locks to keep the baddies out, but they're mostly used to lock ourselves in. This is my house, and it's fine. It's where I spend the vast majority of my time. It's not perfect, but it's mine. It's not perfect, but it's mine. This is my body, and I live in it. It's 31 and 6 months old. It's changed a lot since it was new. It's done stuff that wasn't built to do. I often try to fill it up with wine. And the weirdest thing about it is I spend so much time hating it, but it never says a bad word about me. This is my body, and it's fine. It's where I spend the vast majority of my time. It's not perfect, but it's mine. It's not perfect. This is my brain, and I live in it. It's made of love and bad song lyrics. It's tucked away behind my eyes, where all my screwed up thoughts can hide. 'Cause God forbid I hurt somebody. And the weirdest thing about a mind is that every answer that you find is the basis of a brand new cliche. This is my brain, and it's fine. It's where I spend the vast majority of my time. It's not perfect, but it's mine. It's not perfect, but it's mine. It's not perfect.
again. The rock god. Beautiful. Beautiful.
Welcome to our show. I'm glad that you could come. We're gonna have a hoot. We're gonna have some fun. Sit back, put your feet up and relax. I hope you've had a drink or three. The more you've drunk, the better we will be.